I have traveled from Jima to Chanaxon.
Okay.
So East West Hararge. I've been down in Shashamane, Dodola, Adaba. I have not gone to Aswelaga yet. I hope I will. What is impressed? Okay. In Jima, I had the best coffee in the world. There was a coffee ceremony for maybe 18 of us, 20 of us. In East Hararge, I was in Harar, and I fed the hyenas.
Okay.
That was magical. Shashamane, Dodola, Adaba.
You didn't scare that time?
No.
Zaina?
No.
That was your first time, right?
Yeah.
Why did it scare though?
I don't know. I was ready to take one home. They told me no. There's so many memories. I don't know that I could really give you one. I remember the people. I remember the faces. I remember mothers who would just deliver their babies and they had to lay on a bench. That's what deeply, deeply drives me every single day. But then I remember Buna and laughter and traditional clothes. I remember all of it, and camel milk that we had in Garamaleta. I remember all of it.
Oromo name too, right?
I have an Oromo name, I do. Mulatu. Mulatu is my Oromo name.
Culturally, we Oromos have a special kind of culture. How America do a kind of naturalization here, we can give a citizenship for others according to our culture by our elders Abbagadas. Maybe in the future you're going to be Oromo, right?
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
Before we wrap up, anything you would like to convey or deliver to our audience?
Please ask questions. Reach out to your community. I know sometimes when you've never heard of something, it's really difficult to just jump in. You should question, but also trust and believe and support. I know now that babies are being born through cesarean section because of surgical instruments we've sent. I know that. I've seen the pictures.
Hello our viewers, this is English program on Oromo Diaspora Media. Today we have a special guest at Oromo Diaspora Media. Her name is Jo. She is from Project C.U.R.E. Nowadays, as many of you know, Project C.U.R.E. has been doing something wonderful in Oromia, in Ethiopia. So during that time, they have been sending different medical equipment to Oromia. How they are sending, what the process looks like, what are the preconditions to get those kind of medical equipment. So those of you watching us directly today on Oromo Diaspora Media, social media and the local TV channel 16 get a good information about it. So thank you and welcome to Oromo Diaspora Media, Jo.
Teacher, I'm so honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Before we proceed to our interview, I would like to ask you are here this week in Minnesota. Why you are here?
I'm here in Minnesota. It's chilly here. I came from Houston, Texas, so it's a little colder, but I'm here to meet with the diaspora partners that Project C.U.R.E. works with on this project. So I've met with 4 or 5 different organizations since I've been here, and we're brainstorming, we're celebrating, we're fundraising, we're talking about how to make this project bigger.
Wonderful. So maybe in order to know more about it, people may ask, who is Jo? Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? And then we proceed about Project C.U.R.E. Who is Jo?
Sure. My name is Jo Sullivan. That's my last name. I live in Houston, Texas now, and I'm the executive director of the Houston office of Project C.U.R.E. I've been there about 2.5 years. I'm also a social worker, so I care deeply. I've been in nonprofits my whole life. It's all I've ever done. My goal is to leave this world just a little bit better than how I arrived. And this project came to me because of one person in your community, and that one person introduced me to another and introduced me to another. And in January 2023, I made my first trip to Ethiopia, and that was it. I knew we had something amazing that we could provide from Project C.U.R.E., and I saw something in the community that I knew wouldn't stop until at least some level of solution for your healthcare disparities and those rural areas was solved.
If we're able to mention a person who met you from Oromos for the first time, can you tell us that person and how you met that person?
Rufo. So Rufo from the Jara and Jeru Foundation. Rufo and her sister Satya had been doing programs in education. They'd sent a container from Books for Africa to the area. They're from the Haruhante area, Dodola, Adaba. And they started seeing that the children weren't able to go to school because they were sick and they didn't have health care. Their health post was empty, their health center was lacking, their hospitals didn't have what they needed. So Rufo found Project C.U.R.E. online, and reached out to us and asked if we could help. I was assigned to this project randomly. It could have been someone else, but it was me. And my organization assigned me to go in country and do the assessment. So I traveled with Rufo's sister Satya, and we stayed 2 weeks down in the Dodola Adaba region, and I just started learning and listening and believing in their vision and meeting other people with their vision. It was a transformative experience, and I'll never be the same.
So that was your first visit to Oromia?
First visit to Africa, actually.
Wonderful. How do you see your first visit, though?
It was beautiful.
You like it?
Absolutely. The landscape, the fields, the farmlands, the people, the magical kindness and generosity. And it was all so sad. The hospitals lacking birthing coaches for mothers, lacking bassinets for babies, lacking IV tubes and stethoscopes. So I think like every trip that Project C.U.R.E. does, we work in about 130 countries. There's always two sides. Everywhere is beautiful and there's magic in the world, but there's also sadness and need, and that's what we're here for. And I got to experience both sides. And I learned about Ethiopian buna. So I became the biggest fan of Ethiopian coffee and the honey and the food, all of the cultural, rich, beautiful things. That's the gift of what I get to do, as I'm also helping people in need.
Wonderful, especially the Americans people, you are from here. So whenever they're going to visit one place, they do some kind of research about their place, everything is something. So you don't have any worries, maybe going Africa, some security stuff, something. Did you worry about it?
Not at all. I didn't think twice about it. I'm sure that members of my family or my friends probably questioned it, but this is what I was meant to do. So when the assignment came to me, and the challenge was made, can you spend 2 weeks in Ethiopia? Are you okay with job responsibilities? My bags were packed. I wasn't worried at all. And when I travel, I've been back 3 times now. I travel with you all. And even if I were by myself, I wouldn't worry. You know, I lived in New York City. I lived in Harlem. There's a risk everywhere you go in this world. Just be smart, but also I feel welcome and cared for and protected when I'm in Ethiopia.
Wonderful. That's a good experience. Wonderful. As you said, in Oromia we have many resources, but unfortunately we do have some kind of problems in terms of lack of good governance, corruption, and some other things, especially utilizing our resource. Having all that kind of things, we have a wonderful kind of resource and a wonderful culture to welcome a new person, which is wonderful. So the first question I would like to ask you, beyond your experience in Oromia, can you tell us a little bit how the process of sending those kind of medical equipment to different parts of the world, or you guys send it to Oromia or across the globe?
Across the globe. We've worked in 130 countries around the world. Central America, Mexico, South America, Africa, Asia. We work wherever there's need. The one thing that Project C.U.R.E. doesn't do is tell you, though. We wait until you ask because we want to make sure that we meet your needs. In Ethiopia, all across from Tigray, Oromo, Amhara. We've worked in Ethiopia since 2001. We've sent over 140 40-foot containers of medical supplies and equipment since 2001, and that's totaled about $43 million in gift in kind value. Every one of those facilities and every one of those containers we were invited in, and we visited personally, except in the West Wilaga area. It's still kind of dangerous there, but we work there. We just do our assessments in a different way. We do them on the phone, we do them through email, until it's more safe to travel.
Actually, on that one, I can witness because I'm originally from western part of Oromia.
I know.
Shambu. So, yes, you guys are able to do those kind of assessment by calling those in charge of that project, and they came to Finfinne. You guys did something amazing with that. So if you people asking the question, what are the preconditions to get this kind of medical equipment? What's the answer of Joe?
So all we need is a hospital that's more than 75% complete. We've even worked with newer hospitals, but we want to make sure you have your walls. In Ethiopia especially, it really needs to be a public hospital. Trying to get medical equipment and supplies through customs for private facilities is very challenging and very expensive. Even if we donate it, many times the customs officials will charge full taxes, so that becomes difficult. So public hospital or a nonprofit like Gimbi Adventist, which is private but nonprofit, that's all you need. You reach out to Project C.U.R.E through our website. We ask you a few questions about your hospital, your needs, how many beds you have, how many births you have, and then someone calls you back and we start talking. If you're in the Oromo region, we already have a network of nonprofits here, really in Minneapolis, that are working exclusively in the Oromo region. So you can reach out to your friends and neighbors if you're here in Minneapolis. You can reach out to Lanif Relief and Development, or the Jara and Jeru Foundation, or you can reach out to the Mako Foundation, or the Sofamar Foundation, who are working in the Bali region. There are many people already working, so you can go through them, or you can come to us.
Wonderful. You mentioned especially Lemmi for Mako Foundation and JJ Foundation, which is wonderful. That's for Oromia.
Yes.
Is there any specific organization working with other state of Ethiopia or some other parts?
Not at the moment. Sofamar is the newest. They're coming in the Bali region, but we can work with nonprofits. We can also work with hospital administrators directly, or we can work with individuals. There was a beautiful story about a gentleman who drove an Uber in Denver, Colorado, and he came from Uganda. And the hospital in Uganda where he was born, his mother died from something very preventable. This young man drove his Uber 18 hours a day until he raised enough money by himself to send one container. So you can do that too. Or you can join together with people who are already working in a community, collect your money, collect your resources, and do it as a group. We'll work with you if the hospital meets the requirements of being mostly complete, and if you have a real passion to make change, Project C.U.R.E will partner with you.
So here you said, you gave us one example, a guy from Uganda who lives in Denver, Colorado, which is an exemplary for everybody, honestly speaking. Because we have many people who work different profession, but this is a Uber driver who committed to do that, which is wonderful. We really appreciate that. But if one person or a given group contributed something, if they are unable to fulfill for the shipment cost, is there any kind of plan B you guys can help them?
We do a lot. We do fundraise with our partners as much as we can. The need in the world is so great, and anyone who's tried to work within the nonprofit world or you've tried to make change, you know how hard fundraising is. So we consistently try to work with our partners. The most recent example of success, the Lanif, Mako, and Jara and Jeru Foundation came together and brought their projects together, and Project C.U.R.E was able to take that collective project and submit a grant request from Islamic Relief Canada. That grant request was fulfilled. It's a big project and they're happy to do it. But I'm also working with small churches in Houston, Texas, or individuals who hear your story and they're passionate about it, and they'll write a check for $100, $1,000, $50. It doesn't matter. We tell your story, and we try to ensure that your story reaches as many ears, Farenji ears, people from the diaspora community, grants from nonprofits, so collectively, but we have to do it together. Project C.U.R.E cannot do it alone, and neither can you. So we do it together as partners.
Okay, which is wonderful. I think our audience are learning something wonderful and a very informative kind of discussion what we are doing now. But the question is, you guys are sending some medical equipment for different hospitals across the globe, which is wonderful. But that's the only project you guys are working on it? You guys help with different kind of sector. For instance, there are places where they don't have a clinic or hospital, something like that one. Do you guys have such kind of project or only medical equipment?
It's a wonderful question. We really only focus on medical equipment and supplies. That's what we do. We have 7 warehouses around the United States. We collect items that have been donated to us. We don't purchase, we don't buy items that are donated. So we have people that go out and talk to hospitals and doctors' offices. We have hundreds of partners that donate to us. That medical equipment, those supplies, they're quality controlled. We check expiration date. We fix any biomedical or things that plug in. Even with wheelchairs, we repair wheels and brakes. So that project, that's really what we do with are those 40-foot containers. Now, we do partner with groups like Blessing International. All they do is medication. So maybe Project C.U.R.E can send the refrigerator for the vaccine, right? Maybe we can send the microscope to diagnose. But we need a partner like Blessing International who's authorized and can send medication. So we can suggest to our partners, if you need medication, call these people. What we do, what we focus on are syringes and bandages and wheelchairs and patient monitors and incubators and baby warmers. We really want to put the items in the hospital that are most important.
Good. The other thing, especially we have many diaspora here from Ethiopia or Oromo, wherever it is. We have many diaspora here across the globe, here in America. It's a land of opportunity. Of course, we do have an opportunity to work 24/7 days and to help our people from back home. What's the role of those community-based organizations in order to achieve this goal or working with Project C.U.R.E? What do you advise about it?
You know, your community-based organizations, the diaspora groups around the world, that's where the transformation happens. You know better than me. I've walked into 32 different medical facilities in Oromo. So I think I know something, a little, but I wasn't born there. I didn't watch my family suffer because of lack of medical equipment and supplies. You know this. You know what happens in Shambu. No one can tell this story the way you can. Every one of you, all of your listeners, all of you have a story. You have something, an experience, and you bring that together with passion and a desire to make a change. Project C.U.R.E can partner with you on that. But the diaspora communities, you know better than we do deeply, deeply how much the suffering happens around the world, so we depend on you. We count on you. You become partners, you become family, you become friends, and that's how we do this. We do this together. That's how we change the world.
Wonderful. I hope our audience is getting something wonderful and a wonderful insight about it, honestly speaking. But before we are going to wrap up our interview, I do have some question for you. What people should know, like, okay, this is the process. For instance, you guys do an assessment. After that, there is something they pay for assessment or something like that one.
That's correct.
And then following that, there should be a process of shipping these steps. Can you tell us a little bit, some highlight how it works?
I can, absolutely. So if you are here and you are already working with the diaspora community, I would suggest you first reach out to one of the groups already working. But maybe you're watching and you are not part of the Oromo community, maybe you're somewhere else. Start with our website, go to projectcure.org and you fill out a request. We make sure your hospital meets our needs, 75% done, probably public, and then we work on raising an assessment fee. That's a $4,000 fee, and we send someone to your country. We can assess up to 10 facilities when we're there, and we submit a giant report. That assessment report drives everything. That assessment report asks about births, diseases. Do you have a functioning OR? Do you have a neonatal ICU? We really want to make sure we understand the hospital. From that report, we create an invoice that is a shipping invoice, and that shipping invoice is the rate of shipping at that moment. It goes up and down a little, right? So that invoice is flat fee for shipping, a $15,000 project management fee, and when that invoice is paid, then we go back to that assessment report and we look at our inventory in all 7 warehouses, big, 50,000 square feet, big warehouses, and we say, from this assessment report, what items do we have right now? And that's how we build the packing list. Even then, the hospital has a chance to say, I think we need more wheelchairs. I think we need another bed. Can you find us a second incubator? And we go back and forth until the hospital approves. We will not fit everything in a 40-foot container, but we make sure we fit what the hospital approves. And then it goes on a giant boat with 15,000 other containers, and it starts its journey to Africa. Right now, that journey is taking about 3 months. As long as the Gulf of Aden and the Red Sea are dangerous right now, but We have our suppliers and our freight forwarders can get there. So we absolutely track that shipment all the way there. We send you a link. Did you track the Shambu link?
Yes.
Yes. So we send you a link so you know where it is and then you know that it's going. And then when it gets to Djibouti, it clears customs. Usually the facility is responsible for clearing customs because the ownership transfers to the hospital, and then it goes on another truck and it drives door to that facility. It's a complex process. I won't pretend it's not, but you have us. That's what we're here for. We do this every day, 200 containers a year. So we guide you. We answer questions. We're right there every step of the way to make sure that everything's clear and transparent for you and the community.
Wonderful. Especially I've been here almost about 8 years now. I've been experiencing many things when people are trying to send different kind of equipment to back home. But when we see with the Project C.U.R.E, it is very successful. What's the secret behind that one? I know you guys are working with the University of Oromo.
Yes.
But what the other secrets people should know because they want to use this way to deliver or to send something?
Yes.
What's the secret behind that?
Lots of secrets. I think you made the point with Haramaya University. For the 3 groups we just mentioned, Lanif, Mako, and Jara and Jeru, Haramaya University has generously donated to do all the customs clearance. So if you are a new group here and you haven't connected with someone, you should call one of those groups because they really have experience. But the other secret to our success is we ship a lot. 200 containers a year. So if you've never cleared customs, we have. We can help with the paperwork. We can help advise on clearing agents. And when people say, what's a clearing agent? You don't need to know yet. It's okay. We walk with you every step of the way. So I think our secret is partnerships and experience. Partnerships and experience, and those just come with relationships.
It's very important because
so
if you
important.
come together, that's the way you can achieve something. That's why we say teamwork, right? Most of the time.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Wonderful. Yeah. So here you said this year you guys are able to send about like 200 containers every year, right? That's what you said.
Yes.
So if that's the case, how many containers so far sent to Oromia, and how many of them are in the process now?
That's a great question. Since the beginning of this project, which started in January of 2023, we have created funding, packing lists, navigated approvals, all the successes for 13 containers that are already in country. They're delivered. Those 13 containers have touched 15 facilities. 2 containers were split between 2 small health posts. So 15 facilities. We have another 11 right now, fully funded. Packing lists are all approved, and they're being scheduled right now. So starting around February 5th through March, we will pack and send another 11 containers, and they will touch 13 facilities. So we're moving, and we have 2 more containers that are very close to finishing their funding. We have about 15 facilities across the region that are assessed. We've been there. We've walked the hallways, but they don't have funding yet. So if you're part of this community and your container is sent, find another one. Find someone else that you can give $50, $100 to. Because our goal for this project in Oromia is 40 containers touching 50 facilities. That's our goal. And we are halfway there. We cannot stop now. We have to keep going.
Wonderful. Last time during the dinner time with Joe, you delivered a wonderful message. At the same time, the people are very delighted about your service. Some of them already got the equipment. Some of them are in the process. Some of them are eager to learn about it.
Yes.
That's what you did during your stay here in Twin City at the same time. But what are those challenges and obstacles when you guys are doing those kind of stuff?
It's always the biggest challenge in helping suffering in this world. Always money. That's the biggest challenge, and it should not be the barrier between a mother delivering a baby. It should not be the barrier between someone being able to have an IV to draw blood to diagnose them. Money is the biggest challenge. So that is the thing. If the Oromo community really wants to know what they can do, talk to your community members, do small fundraisers, reach out to one another. The smallest thing makes the biggest difference. It doesn't have to be a big gift, but money is always the biggest challenge. We've done the big part. We've assessed these facilities. We have been there. Project C.U.R.E can get into some of the most complex places in the world. Do you know last year we delivered 50 containers into Ukraine in the middle of a war? We've sent pallets into Gaza. We've gotten through the crossing at Rafah. We know how to get medical equipment and supplies to places. That's what we do. You have to bring the passion, commitment, funding, and desire. And we both have to build trust. You have to believe in what we do, and we have to believe in what you do. That's what it takes.
That's wonderful. That's a good message. I hope our audience can learn something from it. I hope in that way. But the last questions, I said I'm going to wrap up, but keep asking questions.
That's okay.
But people should know about it. That's what I really focus on about it. The other thing is, if one hospital, as an example, if one hospital already got the first delivery equipment and also looking for a second one.
Yes.
But you guys do the second assessment for that hospital, or they can pass through the first assessment?
Absolutely. One assessment lasts somewhere between 4 and maybe we can stretch it up to 7 years if the hospital hasn't built brand new wings or whole new processes. But that's part of it, right? You know Shambu. But we've visited Madawalabu, we've visited Haramaya, we've visited Ambo University. These are big facilities. One container will absolutely help, but you need more, and when funding is available, you can send a second and a third, and that same assessment document, we go back to that document and we look and we analyze and we determine what we've sent, and we look at the needs and determine what the next container will be. It'll be different from the first, and it will continue to support that assessment document. The goal would be, if I had all the money in the world, the goal would be put a red line through every item on that list to say we've done what the hospital needs. Funding can prevent that sometimes, but multiple containers will change and change outcomes. It will help.
Let me to get more clarification about it. Our audience may ask this question.
Sure.
For instance, if they got a given equipment at hospital level, they may need this one at clinic level.
Yes.
So the materials, the equipment they need at hospital and the clinic is completely different.
Very different.
So if let's say Ambo University as an example, if you take Ambo University or Ambo Hospital, they need something at hospital. Maybe they need their own kind of village and district where the clinic is located.
Yes.
Okay. In that way, they have to do the second assessment, or they have a full right to amend some kind of their need.
If it is a brand new facility, we request that we do a new assessment. That's just our requirement. That way we can go in and we can look at the doorways, we can look at the electricity, because an assessment isn't just about what do you need in equipment and supplies. An assessment is about how reliable is your electricity. That'll determine what kind of machines we may send. If you ask for an operating room light, and I look up and the ceiling can't hold that light, we may choose to send you a portable one. So if it's a brand new facility, we need to see it so we know we're sending the right things. If it's an existing hospital or clinic, we don't. But you brought up a good point, and I'll add on to this. I've been in health posts, I've been in centers, I've been in hospitals, I've been in tertiary teaching hospitals. If you're a health post, there's not a doctor full-time. There's a medical worker, maybe a midwife, so you need good exam tables. You need a strong oxygen unit. There's a very different need for a health post than a university hospital. That's why it's important for us to see. When we can send to a tertiary, a teaching hospital, and some of the centers close by, and some of the posts, then you've strengthened the whole region. And that's wonderful. But if your community has money for one facility, then you have to pick which facility has the biggest catchment area and what facility has the greatest need. And we help with that. We can talk with you and strategize. We advise. It's your ultimate decision. This is your home, and we want you to do exactly what you feel is deeply right for your home. But we're part of that conversation, and we can tell you what our experience has been.
Very good. Recently, I was reading a given article which was posted on Ethiopia Reporter, it is about importing electric car. A given professor from University of Addis Ababa mentioned that we don't have like individuals who can repair those kind of things. Likewise, materials, equipment you guys are sending all the way from America to Africa or Ethiopia or Oromo, sometimes some of them need an expert like biomed, something like that one.
Yes.
So is there any plan to help them with that one in case, because they already got, you guys already checked whether this is effective or not, but once it is arrived at the destination in the hospital, maybe they can't operate.
Very
how
true.
can you evaluate that, and how can you guys help them?
It's very challenging. So when we're there doing the assessment, that's something else we ask about. Who repairs? Do you have a technician? Do you have an engineer? The big universities usually have biomedical. And if that's the case, we ask them, what types of equipment have you worked on? What brands have you worked on? Where are they manufactured? So we try to match experience with brand when we can. In those smaller areas, it is always a challenge. It's not just a challenge in Ethiopia, it's a challenge around the world. So we very much try to send equipment that we feel, hospital beds, for example, those are much more repairable than, let's say, an x-ray machine. So we have to work with the community and truly understand what you can repair, because it doesn't help to send something that's going to break in 3 months or 6 months. This particular grant that we were just talking about with Islamic Relief Canada, their sister organization, Islamic Relief Ethiopia, is also part of the project. And in this case, Islamic Relief Ethiopia is doing biomedical training. So for every container that goes under LAMIF, Relief and Development, Jar and Jeru Foundation, or MAKO Foundation, Islamic Relief Ethiopia is helping with that biomedical. Will it last? Will we be able to operate the same equipment in 2 or 3 years? We don't know, but we don't want to wait until we have confidence, right? So we're doing it's a partnership again. It's about partnership. Haramaya University has also sent out volunteers from their school to areas in East and West Hararge, and we will encourage Embo, we will encourage Madawalabu and Shashamane. If your university has biomedical, give them the time to go spend half a day to help the health post and the health centers. It's a problem, and I don't have the answer to it, but we won't stop what we're doing to find an answer, because people need the equipment today. So we just keep talking about partnership and change. Partnership and change. We have to do it together.
Yes, you mentioned many names which I know are like from Oromia, because you're able to visit those places where places you remember. You say Ambo, you say Shashamane, you say Dodola, you say Adaba, you say Shambu, you say mention many of them, and some places in East Hararge.
Yes.
So anything during your visits? I'm going to wrap up now.
Okay.
And, before that, anything you never forget in your visit? This is something you can say?
Just one thing? Okay. Yes. So I have traveled from Jima to Chanaxon. Okay. So East West Hararge. I've been down in Shashamane, Dodola, Adaba. I have not gone to Aswelaga yet. I hope I will. What is impressed? Okay. In Jima, I had the best coffee in the world. There was a coffee ceremony for maybe 18 of us, 20 of us. In East Hararge, I was in Harar, and I fed the hyenas.
Okay.
That was magical. Shashamane, Dodola, Adaba.
You didn't scare that time?
No.
With Aina?
No.
That was your first time, right?
Yeah.
Why did it scare though?
I don't know. I was ready to take one home. They told me no. There's so many memories. I don't know that I could really give you one. I remember the people. I remember the faces. I remember mothers who would just deliver their babies and they had to lay on a bench. That's what deeply, deeply drives me every single day. But then I remember Buna and laughter and traditional clothes. I remember all of it, and camel milk that we had in Garamaleta. I remember all of it.
Oromo name too, right?
I have an Oromo name, I do. Mulatu.
Mulatu.
Mulatu is my Oromo name.
Culturally, we Oromos have a special kind of culture. How America do a kind of naturalization here, we can give a citizenship for others according to our culture by our elders Abbagadas. Maybe in the future you're going to be Oromo, right?
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
Before we wrap up, anything you would like to convey or deliver to our audience?
Please ask questions. Reach out to your community. I know sometimes when you've never heard of something, it's really difficult to just jump in. You should question, but also trust and believe and support. I know now that babies are being born through cesarean section because of surgical instruments we've sent. I know that. I've seen the pictures. I know an anesthesiologist was able to operate on a child because we sent the right size tube, right? I see it happening every day. Every container that arrives, we hear stories about lives being saved. So question, but also be part of it. Don't miss this opportunity. You can change outcomes in your community. You can change outcomes across all of Oromia. You have the power to do it. So let's work together and do it.
Wonderful. Actually, in order to witness about that, I've been talking with some individuals in different hospitals. They were transporting their patients from one room to the next laboratory room or to different room, carrying. The family member can carry or the nurses over there used to do that. But now they're able to get a wheelchair. Simple as such.
Simple as a wheelchair.
Yes, simple, because things you guys are sending, we really appreciate about that one. If we have some other question from our audience, we will may have some interview. I don't think in person, could be virtual.
Let's do it.
Yes, so our audience, our today's program, we are going to wrap up here. I think you guys get a wonderful information. This is Ticha from Oromo Diaspora Media. Behind the scene, Ofifan was helping me with the camera. Have a good time. Bye.
Galatame.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mo Oromiyaan badhaatuudha. Oromiyaan akkasi jennaa miti. Oromiyaan biyya irraanfatamte. Mootummaa Itoophiyaa dhufaa dabraa keessatti biitti lagatamte yoo jiraattu biyya Oromiyaa tana. Irraa nyaachuudhaaf mijju. Moo service delivery duubatti haftuudha.
Warri kun onarra mana bitachuuf yookaan gurguruuf yaada qabdu yookaan mana bituun bu'aa argachuu ni barbaaddu yoo yeroo jalqabaaf kan bitattanis ta'e yookaan manuma qabdan gara guddaatti yookaan xiqqaatti jijjiirrachuu feetan gartuun Saamu'eel Birhaanuu Integrity Reality isin gargaaruu danda'u. lakkoofsa bilbilaa 763 744 8362 irratti bilbiluun quunnamuu dandeessu. Saamu'eel Birhaanuu, Integrity Reality.
Hi everyone, I'm Kiya Sanyi, a founder of Adu Solar. Over the past 2 years, we've been consulting solar companies across the United States with engineering and their system design needs. It's been an incredible journey, but now we're taking Adu Solar to the next level. Adu Solar has officially transformed into full-service solar contractor, serving homeowners here in DMV area. This is an exciting new chapter for us and for you. We know going solar can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. That's why we're offering in-house financing with zero down payment to go solar. This means you can go solar today and lower your bill tomorrow. If you're a homeowner and you're curious about going solar, reach out to us. My team is here to guide you every step of the way. Let us help you make a switch to clean energy and put money back to your pocket. Adu Solar, empower your home, empower your future.